Are you someone who likes to go on vacation or you work away from home and you don't want to leave your plants all by themselves at home? Well, I have a solution for you. Naked Root has kindly sent me some planters to try, and this will allow you to leave your plants at home safe and sound without having to get someone to come in and water them. So if you're interested in seeing this product, please stick around because we're going to be testing them out together today. My name is Natasha. I am Planted in Platinum. You can find me over on TikTok and Instagram for more plenty content. In today's video, we're going to be testing out some Naked Root planters, and I'm really excited, so let's just get into it. All right, you guys, I'm gonna start off by showing you these beautiful planters that were sent to me. These planters come in 3 different colors, which I will put up here for you guys to see. I chose mine in peppercorn because I like to go dark. I think that these are beautiful. They come with an inner pot with breathable air holes all around the pot and a reservoir pot with a hole where you can water through. They have 3 different sizes. We have the 3-inch here, we have the 5-inch here, and we have the 8-inch here. They also very kindly sent me this plant hanger, which I won't be able to use in this house because I'm renting. So I'm going to save it for when I move and buy a house and can actually hang some plants. So look how cool that is. So you would just put your plant inside of here and it would just hang. So that is really neat. Just like this. Oh, I like that. And it just comes with a hook here. These planters are so cool. I'm gonna save this one for an Instagram reel, but I'm going to be using the 2 smaller ones with you guys today. So we have the 3 and the 5-inch pots here. And the plants that we're gonna be working with today is my variegated philodendron melanochrysum, cutie, and my begonia thurstonii, which I'm also very excited to pot up. It has good roots, as you can see. And this one here, it just needs a repot. So I am very excited to share these pots with you guys today, and I'm also very excited to try them out for myself. The way that these planters work is you plant your plant into the inner net pot and up to here. So you would leave the bottom part for the water reservoir, and then you would fill up the reservoir to the line here. And then you count how many days it takes for your reservoir to completely dry out. And then you figure out whether you have a thirstier plant or an average drinker or a drier houseplant. So some of our thirstier houseplants would be alocasias, anthuriums, ferns. Some of our average houseplants would be like a pothos or an epipremnum, or like probably even a philodendron or a monstera. And then for the drier houseplants, we would assume that that would be a cactus or a snake plant, something to that effect. So I would say I have an average houseplant here and a thirsty plant here, because begonias I know are more thirsty and philodendrons I would assume would be more on the average side. When you order a planter or a set of planters that comes with an instruction paper, which you see here, it says Naked Root watering instructions. Naked Root planters work differently than standard planters. To grow healthier plants, you must allow your planter's reservoir to sit empty for 1 to 3 weeks before refilling. So that means once your reservoir has dried out, you have to leave it dry for the period of time that you can calculate before you refill the reservoir. If the reservoir is dry, the plant will still have moisture in the substrate that it is in the inner net pot. To calculate your ideal watering schedule, you fill your reservoir completely with water and make a note on your calendar. You can also use your phone so you don't forget. Wet cycle. Check the reservoir periodically and count how many days it takes for the reservoir to empty. So that's pretty simple. You fill your reservoir and then you just keep track of the water level, and when it's empty you mark that down and count how many days it took to completely dry out. Dry cycle. Add 7 to 21 days to the days it took for the reservoir to empty. This is how often you'll need to refill your reservoir. And then it gives you a graph down here that says dry cycle days, and it shows you with each size of planters, so the 8, the 5, and the 3, and then the different types of plants. So we have the thirsty plants, the average plants, and the dry plants. It shows you exactly how many days to add to that cycle. So that is really helpful to have. Wow. And they also give you an example for an 8-inch planter. So it says if it takes 10 days until the reservoir is empty and you have an average moisture-loving plant, your watering schedule would be 10 days plus 14, because if you go into the little graph they give you down here, for an 8-inch planter and an average house plant, you add 14 days to the total amount of days that it took for your plant to dry out. And then that would give you a 24-day watering schedule. So that is very useful information to have. Wow, I'm very intrigued to try these planters. I know that they're going to be amazing for my plants, and I'm really excited to share them with you today. All right, so I think that what we're gonna do is we're gonna pot the melanochrysum into the 3-inch planter. Should fit. We're gonna have to take it out and rinse the roots. And then we're gonna pot the Begonia thurstonii into the 5-inch planter. And I also bought some stakes the other day that I want to use to support that begonia, and maybe even the melanochrysum. I'll grab them. I got these plastic ones from my local garden center so that they don't rot in the substrate. I'm thinking I might use one of these for the begonia, and then maybe I'll just keep the bamboo stake in for the melanochrysum, because I'm going to put the begonia into pon mixed with perlite, and I'm going to keep the melanochrysum in tree fern mixed with pon and perlite. So I think that's going to be what I'm going to do today. So these aren't self-watering pots. They are breathable planters, which I think is really cool. So what it does is when your roots grow through the slits, they are automatically pruned, and then that encourages roots to branch out inside of the pot, so that you can keep your plant in the planter for longer. So that is very cool. So you would basically just have to clean your reservoir once it dries out and fill it up again. And keep an eye on your growth. When your growth slows down or your leaves start getting smaller, then it's time to repot. It's always good to keep track of the behaviors of your plant to know when to repot. I've got the sticker off of this one, so maybe we'll do the begonia first. I'm definitely going to be doing an update video on this, and I'm also going to film a reel for Instagram. And I'm really excited to be working with Naked Root. They're very, very kind. The lady who has been emailing back and forth with me has been so nice. They sent me these plants from the States, and yeah, I'm very excited to work with them. They seem like a very kind and caring company. You know what I did last night? I made up some pon, and I made up some tree fern and pon so that I don't have to get off my chair and go do that today. So that was pretty good. I'm always getting up to do something. I'm like, I need to prepare myself, you know? It's a lot easier when I don't have to keep getting up and leaving. So I've got that there, and it's all rinsed and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is there is a line here. I'm gonna fill the bottom with pon. Perfect. So I have the bottom filled with pon. I'm going to put it back into the pot. And we're going to pot the thurstonii directly into the planter. But I also want to put the stake in. Should work out good. Maybe I should put the stake all the way to the bottom. It's probably a better idea. Let's do that. I'm just gonna empty that and try this again. Okay, put the stake in the bottom. Fill up the reservoir with pon. There we go. That is better. And now I'm going to put the plant in. Against the stake. Oh, I should have brought some garden tape, but that's okay. I can do that after. And I brought my handy Myco right here, which I'm going to be applying to the root system to help with the transition from water to substrate. And we're just gonna fill her up. When I go on vacation, I always take my very small plants and I put them into totes so that I don't have to worry about them. They can just have their high humidity and their light and kind of fend for themselves and work out fine for when I get back. But it's also nice to have these bigger planters so that I can put some bigger plants that don't fit in totes into them and know their watering cycle so that I can basically just set and forget them and leave them. I think that this is going to be a life changer for me, and I'm really excited to see how this works. If you want more information on their planters, you can go directly to their website, and they have so much information on there. I'll leave the website here for you guys to see. Go check them out. All right, so we have potted our Begonia thurstonii into this planter, and look how cute that is. I actually really like that. Oh goodness. Okay, so she is complete, and then we're gonna move on to the melanochrysum. Should work. Yeah, I think so. This melanochrysum I got a while ago. You guys saw me unbox it in one of my first couple of videos that I made. And then it grew a leaf, and the leaf was like all wonky. So I just chopped it off. I was like, you know what? You're starting yourself over because I am not going to put up with those wonky looking leaves. So I moved her also into my tent. So hopefully her next leaf she gives me is pretty. Now we're going to remove her. First, we're going to fill up this little reservoir with tree fern and pon. So I think the difference of these compared to self-watering pots is that these pots would prevent root rot because your plant is not constantly sitting in water. So I'm curious to see how that works because I would feel way better leaving my plants in a breathable planter if I went on vacation than in a self-watering pot. I think that would be amazing. Okay, so I filled the bottom up with tree fern, pon, and perlite. Now I'm going to take this plant out of the container it's in. I'm going to replace the stick, the bamboo stake, put it back in there, and take this out and take a look at the root system. I can see on the sides that the root system is healthy. I just want to see how big the root system is. Oh, it's actually quite big. I wonder if I have a different plant that would work better in here. You know what, though? We can also prune it because this thing only has two leaves. Okay, so that root system is what we are working with. I'm gonna go rinse this and just give it a little bit of a trim. I don't need that huge root system for these two leaves. All right, so I've trimmed the root system down a bit. That should be good for these two leaves. And now I'm going to Myco the root system. And then we're just gonna pop it right into the planter and fill it up with our tree fern and pon. I want the pretty leaf in the front, so we're making it happen. They have a really pretty green pot as well. I don't remember the name of the color, and they also have a white one, in case you're wondering. Okay, so that should suffice. How cute is that? So there is our beautiful Melanochrysum potted into the naked root planter. So I'm just gonna grab some water and we can water them together. I think it's really cool how this mimics nature, like your natural wet and dry cycle that you get in nature. That's really neat. So I don't typically water with a spout, but if you have a spout, it will fit right in there. So I'm just gonna water with the water I had my begonia rooting in. Just gonna fill it up. Fill it completely up to where the reservoir line is, which is the bottom of the sun. You can see the water moving around in there. And then I'm going to put my plant in. And there we have it. So I'm going to mark on my calendar the day that I fill the reservoir, and then I'll just keep checking to see when the reservoir empties. And that will be my wet cycle. And then I'll add the dry cycle days as well. So this is the 5-inch planter that the begonia is in. And it is a thirsty plant, so I would add 6 days to the amount of days it takes the reservoir to completely dry. Cool. And then the Melanochrysum. There we have it. Ready to go. This one I would consider an average houseplant. So I will calculate the amount of days it takes for the reservoir to completely empty with this pot. And this is the 3-inch planter, so we will also add 7 days to that number. And then that will be our watering schedule. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna keep you guys updated with some updates as they grow, and I'll keep track of the reservoirs. Oh, I just love the looks of these. I think they're so cute. I think that they're gonna fit nicely in with my plant collection. I'm really excited to see how this works. And if you guys want to give Naked Root a try, my discount code is ROOTLOVE20, so you would get a 20% off of your purchase. I'm going to put that here in front of the begonia for you guys to see. Go and give Naked Root some love if you guys want to try this out alongside with me. If you want to wait until you see how mine do, that's okay too. And we have some other tips in here. It says to prevent underwatering, check plant for wilting. If signs of wilting occur, immediately water your plant. Then make sure to fill reservoir before days to wilt. Okay, so that's saying if your wet cycle is done and you are now on your dry cycle and your plant starts to wilt, so say for my begonia. It's in an 8-inch planter, so I count how many days it takes to completely empty the reservoir, and then I add 7 days. If before that 7 days my begonia starts to wilt, I will immediately water it, and then I will change that number from 7 days to however many days it took my plant to wilt. So that's helpful. To prevent overwatering, the reservoir should be empty for at least 7 to 14 days to allow sufficient oxygen for plant roots and soil to breathe. Okay, so that's why you have a dry cycle, because when your reservoir is empty, there's still a lot of moisture in the substrate of the plant. Conditions that affect refill schedule: environmental, so temperature, humidity, sun exposure, and season. So that is why your days to wilt could be variable because of the weather, where you have your plant in your house, the humidity. All of those things will affect your watering schedule. Your plant type, so specific plant, water needs, and plant size. And soil, if you have a porous or a more dense soil. Okay, so that makes sense too, because you can't just automatically say that this 8-inch planter, after the wet cycle, is going to take exactly 7 days to refill. This is an approximation, so you just keep watching your plant. If your plant starts to wilt, then immediately water. If not, wait the full 7 days and then water. All right, so benefits: plants live, no more root rot, bigger, healthier plants, 200% more roots, no stress watering, no moisture check needed, easy watering routine with the 2-week reservoir, less transplanting, so no root-bound plants, and breathe cleaner air, removes 2 times more air pollutants. And some soil will escape through the aeration holes for the first few waterings. Simply remove the inner pot and rinse out the outer pot. That happens anytime you plant into a pot with ventilation holes in it. So just keep that in mind as well. But that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm very excited to keep you guys posted on how I like these naked root planters. I think that they're going to be a game changer for me, because I don't usually go on vacation too much, but when I do, I stress about my plants, especially about my bigger ones. So if this actually works and I can get all my plants on the same watering schedule, I would really love that, because then I can have the freedom to do more things outside of my house with a large plant collection. All right, you guys, that is it for me for today. Thank you so much to Naked Root for sending me this lovely package and for the discount code for my viewers. I think that that is very kind of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're looking for more content from me, you can find me over on Instagram and TikTok. I am Planted in Platinum. If you have Naked Root planters and you've been using them, let me know in the comments how they have been working for you and which color is your favorite. I would really be curious to hear any information that you might have. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like button or subscribing to my Planty channel. It helps me out so much if you hit that subscribe button. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified anytime that I post a new upload. But that is it from me for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!